Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the AAOL ladder, here coming at you live on Saturday nights. I am Pyronius, and I'm joined here by Blackburn, and tonight we are going to be seeing Reps for Jesus taking on the THICC Aussie Boys. And as mentioned before, I'm here with Blackburn.
Hello everyone. Yes, thank you for the introduction. My name is Blackburn. For all you those who do not know me, I am a main tank player. I played in the previous season of AAOL, where I played for Quick Play Warriors in the Division 3 slot. But enough with the introductions. Let's get ready to go into the match. Right now, we will be starting off with the Ilios control point. Now, coming into Ilios control point, we can see a lot of varied compositions, including dive and Reinhardt based compositions, and maybe even a bit of Orisa Roadhog play. We saw that a bit last week in some of the games which I casted, where you can utilize the Orisa hook pull combo to consistently get kills, especially on the the well map of Ilios. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. Tell me, Piranhas, do you have any bias to any of the maps that you specifically want to see in the upcoming match between these two teams?
Well, as you mentioned, Well is always quite dynamic. We do see a lot of Orisa Hog there, but at the same time, it can be a really strong map for some dive-based tanks as well. And there's still teams that will just run goats on absolutely everything as well. So definitely a lot of different options there. I think other than that, probably Lighthouse would be my other one to watch because a lot of the time people are favoring very tank-heavy brawly comps, but at the same time, especially with the recent changes to a couple of heroes, it's a bit more viable to play dive there and really aim to control the high ground and wear teams down from that difficult to get at position before going in for the kill. So a lot of variety on those two maps. It's always interesting to see those sort of mismatched team comps rather than the mirror comp that we're far more likely to see on, say, Ruins.
Very, 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 very true. But I think Ruins is a bit more varied in terms of composition, in my opinion. The only real consistent when it comes to Ruins would generally be the snipers. I would say you generally want a Hanzo or a Widowmaker on your team just to provide that long range or medium range poke damage or one shot ability, where Ruins does provide. And that does make for some very PogChamp plays, which I hope to see coming out. But let's put that aside for now, and let's get into the games if all the teams are ready.
Yeah, I think we're just waiting on the last bit of lobby setup here before we get into the match. And you are definitely right that in Ruins they're very common to see those sort of Widowmaker duels. And Sombra coming back into the meta means that she's often the other pick in there. If not Sombra, maybe Genji to chase down the enemy Widow, or maybe even going over to Doomfist just for that insta-kill potential. We do see a lot of Sombra Doomfist at the current meta, but it remains to be seen whether or not these teams have those heroes in their wheelhouse.
Very interesting. Coming out from the Chinese contender scene, or at least contenders trials, if I'm not generally mistaken, there's a new composition that the Chinese teams are running, which is a no main tank composition with a triple DPS of, as aforementioned, Sombra, Doomfist, Genji, and then you have the Zarya, plus two of the other healers, maybe a Nano Boost and a Lucio for the speed boost or Moira for the orb heals, and that's just for high damage, no poking, just everyone goes in. It's basically DPS dive. Maybe and some of these teams would have saw it, or maybe not, but we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, we get to see some variation if these teams do watch Chinese contenders, which is not very common. But enough about that. Let's get into the maps right now. Now we generally have teams in the midst of picking their heroes. On the side of the THICC Boys, we have what I would assume would be either a quad tank or a GOATS composition, most likely coming out. Yep, would expect a GOATS composition coming out from the side of THICC Boys. And for the sides of Reps for Jesus, we have a basic no, a triple tank composition with perhaps a Widowmaker, which would be interesting to see. Oh, was it said that Reinforce does switch over to the Bastion? Nope, does switch back, a bit of a debate there, and yes, it will be a dive-based composition coming. Sorry, a Goats composition coming out of THICC Boys, and a triple tank coming out for Reps with a Widowmaker. It'll be interesting to see how the Widowmaker will play out against his Goats composition, considering that how much health and sustain Goats does have.
Absolutely, and it all comes down to getting the key picks early on, which Atlas has just done, taking down that Mora there. And the follow-up kill onto Tenentova's Reinhardt there, it means even though the champion has gone down, it looks like we will have an early cap here by Reps for Jesus. Very strong opening position there, because that Widow can provide a lot of pressure onto the squishies, and all it takes is one of those key targets going down, and Goats is almost dead in the water.
Very good play coming out at this Ruby on that fight. Taking out the Mora, I think, with the rope fire strike, and that practically just sealed the deal with coming into the fight, just because Goats does need everyone alive for a actual complete smash. But as you can see, a String Beam does jump off the side of the map, I believe, to just try and get the mech back.
Yeah, Stringbean knows has got a bit of time to get back before the enemy push is coming in. They aren't going to be there for the push as it comes in now, but they'll be back really soon.
Here comes the grab out right now. They've got both of the tanks. And yes, Atlas does get the counterpart of Tat, and Sad Boy just does off the Kamehameha, gets a kill onto him. The Zarya and Vero gets a kill onto Iron Turkey. This is going to be another reset for the Goats composition coming out.
Very nicely played. Very nicely played there by Vero. Obviously, Sad Boy not quite, or rather String Bean, sorry, not quite back with the D.Va. But that grab there, buying them the time they needed and buying them the fight win, combined with the other ultimates they committed there. That said, they have used the sound barrier as well as the coalescence. There's a shatter coming out early but gets blocked up and Atlas deleted. This is definitely going to set up.
Yeah, very true. Very early pick coming out. Tried to go for a cheeky shadow just in front of the right shield. Unfortunately, the counterpart of Tana there actually read that out and subsequently blocked it. And now they will cap the point at about just pushing up to 85%. Pros probably, even if the side of Reps of Jesus does cap the point, there will most probably be one more fight unless they stall out the current fight while continuing to hold the point. And moving on into the next fight here, we have the Zarya on the team of THICC Boys with the Graviton, but here comes the counter Graviton. Already Graviton going 0. Is it gonna get anything? No, it's not gonna get anything. Here comes the counter grab, and it's a fight on the point right now. It seems that no one got killed out of that grab, but as I say, that Zarya does get the kill on Dub Champion without that repeat and the sustain. It is a 5v6, most likely in the favor of the side of THICC Boys, but as I say that counter kill, boop onto Commander off the edge. Tana gets a kill onto Atlas, 4v5, and
no, I think this one's over.
Yeah, it's a bit over, and THICC Boys continues to hold. Let's see if they can get any staggers on the side of the Reps for Jesus. Most likely not. They're gonna back out, and here comes a reset coming up to 50%.
Yeah, Vero almost getting picked up there on the end. The hook going slightly wide, being very aggressive on that Zarya. But another grab due to staying alive through that means that they're set up in a good position. No kills coming through yet though. Sound barrier being committed in by Reps for Jesus as they look to sustain this out, but now they're trapped in the counter grab coming through and the kills are coming through. It does look like THICC Aussie Boys will continue to hold this point. We're up above 70% now, so there's not a lot of time left for the retake.
Both Zaryas generally quite even in terms of the times of when they get Graviton. Generally, Vero does get his first, and then has the counter grab ready. And coming into that last fight, you saw Iron Turkey use the whole hog and just blasted everyone in that Graviton, just securing the fight. But now you can see that Vero has decided to move up onto the new Pharah right now. Just prioritizes direct hits for the maximum damage. Here comes like,
oh, it's a big shot.
The huge shadow getting at the Hazard dead on the ground. Kamara gets a kill on the Duff Champion. Tana gets a kill on Swaymaker. It's a 3v6 on the point itself. At this point, Reps with Jesus might be a bit dead in the water. And yes, THICC Boys do have it and will claim first blood in the series.
Yeah, THICC Aussie Boys just playing that one really well. Once they got control of the point, they weren't letting that up. And they were just clean with their executions. A lot of ultimates being committed there by Reps for Jesus that just ultimately not managing to follow through enough to clean up the kills. Reps for Jesus, on the other hand, they're combining their ultimates a lot more efficiently, and as a result, they're actually cleaning up those fights, and that's allowed them to make their way over here onto Ruins at the 1-0 advantage.
Coming into that last fight, if you actually if you actually saw in terms of the ultimate usages, you can see that Ratsu Jesus generally has the ultimates up a lot faster compared to THICC Boys, but generally when they use their ultimates, it's either getting absolutely nothing or they just start comboing it. We saw Vero had his Graviton, I would say, almost every single fight, but just not having the follow-up damage. Hopefully they do fix that issue coming into the next fight. We can see THICC Boys continue to play the GOAT's composition. If it's not broken, don't fix it. And on the side of Reps, we have the Hanzo. As I said previously, generally you want that sniper due to the amount of free space and on the map here. And fight is underway right now with the Iron Turkey just poking on the side with that Roadhog, hoping to get a cheeky hook. But as I said,
that's
does go
very
in.
important. Yeah, it's a huge OP kill.
And gets a kill onto Command Bro. Fights on the field right now. Stringbean gets another kill onto Tana. It's a 6v4 and it's just clean up for the sides of Reps with Jesus, and they should take the first cap coming in.
Well, Iron Turkey looking like he's trying to sustain on this one, taking the breather on the point and just feeding over a bunch of extra ultimate charge, but now the reset coming through. Perhaps a bit of miscommunication, they're not realizing just how lost the fight was, but now we're going to have Reps for Jesus set up on this point. They're about to have tank ultimates online. They're in a good position to hold this one for a while.
Very true.
That's a huge boop onto Vero, and he's running for it here.
Vero going to be able to get out of this. Here comes a huge
huge counter shatter from Atlas. Grav being committed as well. That might not have been needed, but they will win this fight through.
I would say it was a bit warranted after that very great shatter coming out. Tana getting 2 to 3 people, but just Countergraph just completely annihilated. Then just nano the D.Va. D.Va just at that range just blasts everyone, and they are there, and they continue to hold the point, coming up to 40%. Iron Turkey has switched off onto that Pharah. He's about 40% to his ultimate, and we have the Zarya on the enemy team. Currently has his as well. It's wondering to see what combo might be coming out. Here comes the Graviton right now, but didn't get anything. I don't think he got anyone out of that. Just because of the counter dragon just stopped people from wailing in damage, but Sweaty Bacon got a 2k onto both of the tanks on the side of THICC Boys, and here's another boop coming out Sweaty Bacon. That makes it 3. That makes it 3 for 3 with the boops, and he single-handedly, I would say, continues to hold the point onto 71%. Iron Turkey decides to get off the Pharah and onto the Tracer, and they are switching now to a pseudo dive with the Brigitte.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely, Reps for Jesus have really pulled that one back with that cheap fight win, and now they only need to win this one last fight. They've got a bit more ultimates to play with. Atlas has just got his Shatter online, and there it is. Everyone's knocked down. D.Va Bomb over the top does pick up the Brigitte, and it looks like here we're going to see a final fight very much in the favor of Reps for Jesus. That said, it's been a while. They're a bit split out here. There may be a chance. THICC Aussie Boys trying to bring it back, but the kills are still coming through very much in favor of Reps for Jesus. So even with Sad Boy finally going down there, I don't think there's enough manpower left for this one to end here.
Very, very true, and there comes the cap as compared to the last fight where it was quite close at 85, I would believe, to 100. This is a complete stomp on coming out from sides of Reps for Jesus. Let's see if they can pull it out in the final map of both our favorite maps on this actual map pool. Well,
yeah, no, I have to say, like, I was very worried after that fight. As you said, like, there was a big shatter managed through by, I believe it was Iron Turkey, but the counter shatter by Atlas was really good in stopping that from following through. But then they committed they committed Nano, they committed Grav on top of that. They used all their ultimates, stifle one push, but they then, as mentioned, managed to win the next fight really cheaply and write their way up in the ultimate economy. Here, go ahead.
Coming into this fight, we can see finally we generally have a varied composition in terms of what tank line is being used. We can see on the side of THICC Boys, you can see the Orisa Hog. Let's see if someone manages to get a hook into it, but they decide to not run to the pit and instead flank around the back. Atlas going in for a charge. Is he gonna get anyone with that? He does push I have onto the side. Vero gets a kill on this Tana, but Come On Bro gets a counter kill on Atlas. Sweaty Bacon just finishes up the kill on the Zarya, and currently Reinforced, the only one that's on DPS. Nope, gets taken out by Vero. Dutch champion on the Widow, just doing some cheeky shots on side Iron Turkey, and that gives the cap onto Reps for Jesus. I will not be surprised right now if Tana does switch over to the Reinhardt, just because it's really hard to retake the point with an Orisa. And coming into the next fight, Duff Champion has his ultimate up, so there will be no sneaking on the side of THICC Boys, and we'll see how Reinforced will deal with this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, very nicely played there. I don't think THICC Aussie Boys were expecting that flank. And even though they did lose Atlas in that one, the kills came through very quickly as another fight unfolds here. Atlas takes down Iron Turkey early in the fight with the help of Dust Champion getting that finning blow, but Sweaty Bacon has been taken out by a wayward charge. That said, that grab being committed there means that this fight is all but over, and it's just a matter of cleanup there as THICC Aussie Boys go back to spawn to try and get this one going again. Now, Iron Turkey creating some space with that long-range Widow sights, just trying to buy their team the ability to advance here.
I'm not sure if it's a bit of a miscommunication, but if anyone noticed, on the side of THICC Boys, when Reinforced was on that Doomfist, he punched and fell into the pit for some reason. I'm not sure if they called for a reset there or it was just a bit of a misplay, but it was interesting to see that happen. Now coming back to the fight itself, we have both Duff Champion and Iron Turkey on that Widowmaker. It's on the Widows to try and create space. Here comes a Shatter on the side of Atlas. He got it, but immediately gets taken up because his team wasn't there to support it. He fed. Vero gets a kill on the Reinforced. It's a 5v5. It's still in favor on this. Oh, what a
that one's gonna hurt.
Got the shot coming out of Iron Turkey, not only getting the kill on Sweaty Bacon, but completely cancelling the ultimate. And just when I thought Reps of Jesus was gonna hold it up to 100% and win the point, THICC Boys bring it back and manages to cap it, but only at 99%.
And there's the reset from Stringband as well. So that one, as I said, very close fight. Atlas, unfortunately, not getting anything with the Shatter and then being out of position, has to go for a desperate charge just to try and make something happen and just gets cornered in a room and punished for it. But the real hero of that fight, of course, Iron Turkey, cancelling the Sweaty Bacon sound barrier and then taking out Duff Champion right afterwards as well, has really given them this point, and it's going to be a difficulty unlodging that Widow as Iron Turkey again takes out Duff Champion.
Cheeky charge coming out of Tana on the side corner that manages to get Atlas, but String Bean on that nano boost, he's going on a tear, gets a 2k, but Iron Turkey does answer back with a kill on the Sad Boy. Let's see if String Bean can make it a 3. Yes, he does make it a 3k for him. Now it's just Reinforced on that, it's on that Reaper left on the point. Let's see if he can make miracles happen or is he gonna be dead in the water. Just like his namesake, he has been reaped into the ground. Here comes a grab, that's a 2. Tana gets nano just to keep him alive, and Iron Turkey decides to get off the Widow on the hamster boy himself. Tana gets immediately destroyed, and it seems Iron Turkey doesn't understand the geography of map. You can't stall the point in the pit, son, and gets immediately destroyed by Sad Boy. Reaper, the only one left on the point, just phasing. Let's see if he can get anything out of it. Gets completely destroyed, and THICC Boys is just strictly on the point. I don't think they're gonna take it back, and well, I think Reps of Jesus should have this in the bag after this.
Absolutely.
Oh, huge boot.
Oh, that's a big boot there, and the fight is back on. Iron Turkey just picking up 2 there as well, but off the point, that's it.
Yeah, it's a C9. Huge plays coming out Iron Turkey, and his counterpart, they're getting a 3k, but unfortunately they were just off the point a bit too long. Iron Turkey went into the room on the right hand side, perhaps tried to get one of the health packs over them, but it took too long, and well, he C9'd it in the end, unfortunately. Win coming out for Reps of Jesus. They will be up in the series 1-0, but I would say the first map very close, second and third map, a complete stomp, and Reps of Jesus decided to just turn on in those maps, and we'll see whether or not THICC Aussie Boys can answer back in the upcoming map.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if I agree that the third map in particular was particularly one-sided. I think that all things considered, it was fairly close there. Obviously, Iron Turkey had some huge plays in there and basically managed to win them the point off the back of the Widow play. And it was just the fact that Rest for Jesus had a pretty good store of ultimates saved up that they were able to come back through. So I think that one is perhaps a bit closer than you gave it credit for. But that said, we do have still Reps for Jesus one up as we start to move over to Route 66 next.
Route 66, very interesting map choice. I don't think we really see it in much, even in competitive level play. Don't think it sees much even in Overwatch League as far as I'm concerned. Contenders as well, not too much play. So it is quite varied in terms of what you can run. I think the earliest, the latest time that I remember people play on this map, maybe the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. That's where you saw the Sombra just taking care of hacking the 2 mega health packs, one in the cave, one under Big Earls. And most likely we will start seeing Sombra being used on this map quite often.
Yeah.
And we'll see whether or not the Sombras can be, the playmakers. Sombra being extremely powerful hero in this meta. If your Ryan has a shatter, you can just hack the enemy Ryan. He can't do anything. There's an easy 4-5k shatter for you, and all you need to do is just use one ultimate that charges extremely quickly and one ability that will instantly recharge in the other 5 seconds.
Absolutely. I mean, this is Route 66. The first point thereof has always been a really strong Sombra map, even when she was perhaps less meta outside of a few particular maps that she was really good on. This has always been a great Sombra map, and with her being such a dominant force in the meta, I think we can definitely expect to see this one, see her coming out here rather. It's also very popular to run Widow on this one due to the long sight lines in the early stages. Which does, of course, mean that Pharah is not so much a common pick, but also a lot of Genji here, just because a lot of teams like to hold up on that gas station roof, and Genji provides a means to quickly get up and harass those targets. But we'll see which way the teams favour as they begin to pick their heroes there as we head into Route 66.
Righto. And coming into this map, in terms of attackers, I would suspect that the attackers would most likely be running a Reinhardt-based composition. Perhaps that's a bit easier to deal with the Sombra, just because you can have Zarya bubble and shield to try and block the many sightlines, as compared to Winston diving in on top of Big Earls, immediately gets hacked, and unless he can make the corner extremely quickly, will get completely destroyed. That's my general opinion. But coming in, we can see Iron Turkey is on that Bastion.
Yeah, it looks like, and they may still change this up, but they might be going towards a pirate ship comp here, which is definitely ambitious. There's a lot of high ground on this point available, which can cause a lot of problems for it, but at the same time, Reps for Jesus have not brought any projectiles to the party, so if they do roll out with this Bastion, and it looks like they will be, they just don't have the tools here to deal with it. They actually really don't have the tools to deal with this, except for a very coordinated aggress onto that Bastion with the Reinhardt, which is of course very risky.
Very, very true. It's all on the side of it. This comes down to team coordination, if you will, is whether or not Reps of Jesus can generally break this pirate ship composition, as is on the communication of Atlas, Vero, and Stringbean all attacking at the same time. Here comes a charge from Atlas. He's gonna get anything. Yes,
very nicely done.
Vero gets a kill onto Iron Turkey, but immediately Iron Turkey gets res up in the fight, and Stringbean is down the mech. Iron Turkey gets a kill onto Duff Champion, and currently they are up in this fight. Are they going to be able to secure it just before Duff Champion gets back? Stringbean is still in baby diva form, so she cannot do much in this fight. She is practically dead, and Rest of Jesus should start retreating this fight, as they pretty much just lost it.
Yeah, no, it was like the initial execution onto the Bastion was very good, but at the same time we saw just some really good cover being provided for the Mercy, able to get that's a big shatter coming through from Atlas.
Big shadow coming out, a big shadow coming out of Atlas right now. Let's see if we can bring it back. I believe that Come On Bro accidentally nanoed the Tana instead of the actual Bastion right there, but it doesn't matter. Tank mode is on, gets a 3k, and that will secure the fight with just 2 ultimates.
Absolutely, and just yeah, that obviously they really need more. I think they really need more to deal with Iron Turkey on that Bastion because he's just being able to pull out the big things. I mean, when Bastion goes tank mode, it just becomes super important to get the sleep dart onto him and just shut it down. But unfortunately, nothing coming through, no CC to stop it, and the tank shells are just able to wipe out half the team. And so this pirate ship is going to keep rolling through. Dolph Champion has now gone over onto the Mei. They've isolated the Bastion there, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
You did see a sleep come. We did see a very great play coming out of the Mei, just as you said, dislocating the Bastion off the card itself, and then a subsequent sleep dart coming in. But unfortunately, the Bastion was woken up, able to reset on the ground and just completely destroy anything else. This card is pretty much pushing an unprecedented rate of just over. I think they're gonna just be able to cap it at about 3 minutes 40 seconds, and unless Reps of Jesus does decide to actually push this in. We see, yes, they are gonna decide to at least push this in right now. There comes the relocation on the Bastion again, but this time are they gonna have the follow up? Here comes the Demon Bomb. Is it gonna be huge? Does not get anyone, but Atlas does get the kill on Iron Turkey, and Barrow gets the kill on the Reinforced. Here comes a res onto Iron Turkey, but without the Reinhardt shield, this fight is completely done. And so Jesus does manage to hold just before they cap onto pushing onto 3rd point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Mei wall under the Bastion is a good plan in theory, but the problem that they were having with their initiations there is they don't have a damage source to then follow through. All they can do is throw tanks at it. So while they do bring the tank above the defensive shields, they don't have any long-range DPS to take advantage of that because they're just rushing it with tanks anyways. So I'm not sure Mei is the right pick there. That said, they get a good grab and a big ante on top of it right after they engage on that, and it's those tools that win them the fight there. And sure enough, we are going to see a swap off the Bastion. It's about as far as they can go with that. They're not going to be able to get it set up again. And we're moving over to a triple tank, triple support composition.
Here comes a charge, and with Atlas managing to get Iron Turkey around the corner somehow. That was a very weird charge, but subsequently Tana gets the counter charge back. Here comes a Nano. Is it gonna do anything right now? It's still a 6v6, and here comes another charge at Atlas. Atlas is charge heavy today. He does not walk straight. He presses shift, and it does cost him his life. Iron Turkey gets 2 on to that fight, but here
comes the Mail to save the day.
Mail to save the day. Is he gonna get it? Yes, Tana does get frozen and subsequently killed. Right now, Repsogis continuing to hold, but Iron Turkey, here comes the whole hog. Is it gonna get any kills? No, does get frozen at the last second by Duff Champion, and Repsogis does have coming up to 5 ultimates. They can hold this fight. Atlas goes for Atlas does go for a charge and a shatter. They will hold the point, and they surprisingly still have 4 ultimates coming into the next fight. Whereas on the side of THICC Boys, they do not have any ultimates up coming to the next fight. So it is most likely going to be a dry push, followed up by a proper push.
Well, the trouble with running that triple tank, triple support comp, and you can see they're already making some changes to adjust of that, is the amount of ultimate charge that it feeds over. So it's sort of not that surprising that everyone who didn't use an ultimate at the end of that fight has it up, because especially with a Roadhog there, it's a lot of ult charge being fed over to the defenders. And there's the Graviton coming through. I think this one will be over before it's begun.
Yep, very true. String B gets killed. Tana Atlas gets killed. Reinforced that boy just picks up Iron Turkey. That's a complete team wipe. We have 57 seconds on the clock left, and what started off as a really great push coming out THICC Boys is now turning into a very dire situation where they haven't even capped and pushed into 3rd point. On the side of THICC Boys, they do have a Nano, and they do have a Graviton coming up, and with Reinforced currently at 94% and Tana having his Earth Shadow. It's gonna be on these 3 ultimates to see whether or not they can potentially clear this map out and push into 3rd point.
That's it, Duff Champion getting very close to another male. Shadow coming through there from Tanatum is going to set things up. Sound Barrier being committed to try and burn out. Iron Turkey gets nanoed, goes for the barrage and gets slept. A lot of resources used there. The male not getting a lot of value there in the background. They do eventually pick off the Lucio, but this is still anyone's fight.
Very, very true. I believe that no team currently has spawn advantage just because I think it's somewhere in the middle right now, but Duff Champion on that Mei, being the playmaker, I believe, getting a couple of kills and consistently trying to stall this point out. Here comes the D.Va Bomb. Is it going to be big? Yes, there is a 2k, and this fight is in the favor of Repsol-Jesus. The Pharaoh Mercy combo, the only one left on the card, instantly gets destroyed, and what started off as a very bad, very dire situation for Repsol-Jesus turns out to be a very, very good hold coming into second point.
Absolutely, and while I do criticize Duff Champion's Mei pick for dealing with the Bastion, every moment after that was nothing but brilliance. That big D.Va Bomb at the end was enabled by the Reinhardt being frozen by the Mei. No shield to hide behind for the team of Repsol-Jesus, or rather, for THICC Aussie boys, rather. And so Repsol-Jesus able to hold this one out at second, putting them into a decent position to win this map.
Yep, very, very true. Now it's just on to the side of THICC boys. Let's see how well they are able to stall, or at least try and hold Repsol-Jesus on this first point here. Just because this is probably still a very heavily defender favorite spot, as you said before, coming into this map. And we see that they are going for a Reinhardt hog play for the hold onto Big Earls here. Very interesting. You rarely do see Orisa and Hog used outside of specific maps, and Route 66 is not a map that you generally see these two, so it'll be interesting to see.
I don't know if I agree with that. Orisa has often been used on this first point here. She is very good on that gas station roof. I think you do more often see her paired with D.Va just for the mobility that the off-tank brings. But I think Orisa on this roof is very commonly played. If she plays right at the lip of the roof, you can actually contest the payload from the rooftop, but it looks like she is going to be playing a bit further back behind the sign, so she's not going to be able to hold up the payload from the roof there. That said, it's going to be up to Atlas and the boys over at Repsol-Jesus to dislodge this defensive position. They have a lot of spam damage that's going to be raining down from that roof.
Seems that they are. Seems that the composition was more favored towards stopping a dive-based attack coming out from Repsol-Jesus. And here comes an early hook onto String Bean, but with D.Va Musas being able to get out, she will come up very much unscathed. Atlas's shield, however, is not going to be unscathed. It is going to be completely hammered, even at the start of the fight, just because of the amount of damage being poked in right now. Currently, it's still anyone's fight. They are still pushing the payload, but right now, THICC boys have decided to drop down a Big Earl for some reason and decides to hold the street space. This gives high ground over the String Bean to potentially just get some damage. Here comes a huge anti right now, but String Bean is stuck and can't follow up on it right now. And the side of THICC boys has gently healed up. It's still anyone's fight with no one actually dying. Yeah, here comes a Riptire on the side of THICC boys. Is he gonna get something? No, Sweaty Boy gets the kill onto Iron Turkey, but reinforces. Riptire does get the kill on the String Bean smack. It's a 5v6 right now, but Atlas gets the kill on Tana. Duff Champion gets the kill, and that will secure the fight in favor of Repsol-Jesus. That will cap the point at 2 minutes and 37 seconds.
Yeah, I think that was very well played there by Repsol-Jesus. I think THICC Aussie boys gave up a little too much space. I think if they were going to jump off the roof to hold the streets, they needed to initiate onto the payload rather than allow it to just freely push all the way around there, because it meant there was only one defensive fight for that whole point. Now they're stuck in a position where they're having to hold B, and again, they've really only given themselves enough room for one fight here where they're setting up.
Very, very true, but the early pick on the Duff Champion just means that they have the potential to just push in right now, but perhaps a bit too deep with Iron Turkey getting antied and subsequently killed. Duff Champion is not back in the fight, but Iron Turkey does get rest. 66 right now, and Iron Turkey just trying to fight the D.Va, but in the meantime, Reinforce gets a kill onto Atlas. Duff Champion gets the counter kill onto Reinforce. 5v5 right now, with the cart staying put just because Repsol-Jesus does not have their main tank. This is probably just going to be a reset for them, or they're just going to wait for Atlas to come back before starting an actual push.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a good disengage by them because the Orisa Bongo down just means there's a lot of damage to push into. They don't need to take that fight, so especially with Atlas going down, it was a good disengage there to not take extra casualties. That said, this fight coming through is unfolding quite decisively. More ultimates being committed by the defenders, They've basically used everything in the tank now, though. And as you can see, the attackers over at Rets for Jesus have almost all ultimates online. The only defensive tool they're really going to have available to them over at THICC Aussie Boys is Iron Turkey's Blade, which doesn't have the nano paired with it to keep it alive. So this could well be the fight.
Yes, it's going to be on Iron Turkey. See whether or not he can get the value out of that Dragon Blade, but Barrow gets a kill on the Reinforce and it cannot be res. Subsequently, String Bean gets a kill on Tana. Atlas gets nanoed. He's going ham. Is he? Actually, no, he's just gonna stand still. Reinforce does get res, but subsequently killed just as fast. And Atlas decides to throw in the Earth Shatter for some reason onto a single target Roadhog. A bit unnecessary. He could have saved that Shatter for Iron Turkey's Dragon Blade, but decides to use it, and now we're coming into the last fight. THICC Boys does now have the Nano Blade combo ready for this fight. They're gonna have to use it, and it has to be huge. Here comes the Dragon Blade right now. Is it gonna get any of the key members that they needed to get it? But Stringbeak gets 2, Reinforce and Gaming are down. Tana gets killed, but they still have the Nano Blade combo. This Nano Blade has to be huge. It's gotta be 5-6k. It's gotta be Hacksaw level, but no, it gets destroyed and countered, and Rets for Jesus is up 2-0 in the series.
And that's going to take them over to match point. And yeah, just very nicely played there by Rets for Jesus. They throwing out the Grav and the Ice Wall there to just keep the rest of THICC Aussie Boys from being able to even get into the fight. Just means that that last fight almost was for free. And the devastating Nano Blade came into the fight too little too late because the key members to set that one up were just walled out of the fight. So really nicely played again by Rets for Jesus. And that's going to set them up, 2-0 as we head over to, I believe it's Hanamura.
Very wonderful play coming out. Rets for Jesus, they're a bit of a slow start for them, but they have, after that, they have, performed tremendously, I would say. And coming into Hanamura, this is going to be the match point for them. It's going to be on THICC Boys right now to start the reverse sweep if they want to win this series. But it's also on the side of Rets for Jesus to try and win this to close the game out. After watching the two maps, who do you think? Do you think THICC Boys has a chance to start the reverse sweep?
I don't think they can do a reverse sweep, no. I think Rets for Jesus have shown that they, pound for pound, are the stronger team. I think THICC Aussie Boys definitely have a chance to maybe pick up Hanamura, but I don't think they're ever going to get enough momentum by them to go all the way. That said, I've been wrong before, and I may yet still be wrong tonight. So while I don't think they'll manage it, I wouldn't put it past them to manage to take Hanamura, because they have been very devastating on those GOATS comps, and this is a great map for it. But at the same time, I can't see them going all the way with it.
Alright, then I think both of us have generally the same sentiment coming in. But let's see, Hanamura very much the X factor, I believe, in the actual hero pool, just because these two CP maps, even if you are down favorite in terms of teams, you can just have a really good push and cap it with over 6 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are so many different ways this can go. I mean, Hanamura can be, as you mentioned, over with a 6 minute in the time bank, or you can just get absolutely choked out at first point, or you can catch first point in 30 seconds and then spend the next 7 minutes failing to make any progress on B. So it can definitely go in any direction here, and it's really going to be onto the teams to take their fortunes into their own hands as we begin the setup here. And it looks like we will see Duff Champion reprising their role in the May. They've been absolutely devastating on this hero, and of course she is famously annoying to deal with at this first choke. So it's definitely got to be something that THICC Aussie Boys are worried about here. Let's see if they have a plan to deal with that potential May threat.
Coming out the side of THICC Aussie Boys right now, you can see if they are sticking with this composition, they can bait out the May wall with either Tana just walking in or Iron Turkey walking in, and then Booster, or just subsequent team like a monkey jump out, and then all of them can engage. But as you can see, Rets for Jesus might be taking a very aggressive approach, but no, they decide to fall back onto the point. Here comes the push, here comes the wall. Unfortunately, the wrong tank went in first, and Commander gets completely destroyed. 5v6 right now, and gaming easy, just on the point right now, just trying to maybe get cheeky cap, but no, gets killed. But
Ooh,
let's get the kill on this bad boy.
Yeah, that could be key because it's obviously a lot longer a run for Sad Boy to come back, and Anna is not the most agile hero, so they are going to have an opportunity here for a 5v6 push. That said, I think Reps for Jesus have realized that, and they've gone aggressive and taken out Iron Turkey. They're taking some very aggressive positioning here and really punishing positioning errors in order to give Sad Boy a chance to get back to the fight here. So very well played by them once again.
Yep, coming in right now, we can see that Iron Turkey has reset and with the team right now. Here comes a Graviton. It gets everyone on the side of THICC Aussie Boys. Is it gonna be a kill? Yes, Pharaoh gets a kill onto I Have Rake. Right now, here comes a Shatter. They're investing 2 ultimates, and they will win this fight with only 2 minutes 40 seconds. They make a push to cap first point.
Yeah, so again, very well played out of them, and while they did use 2 ults to win that fight, they have another 4 about to come online, and we yet to see any ultimates coming online on the side of THICC Aussie Boys. They are going to have that Diva Bomb very soon, but that's not usually enough. Sorry, that's not even the Diva Bomb, that's a remake. My apologies. And so with that, I think the only ultimate they've got online is the Coalescence, and the Moira is stuck in alone, walled off, and commits it out of desperation.
Yes, we see coming into the fight, we see a Graviton. It does get almost everyone on the side of Reps for Jesus, but here comes the counter bait. And that's a huge 3K set up by the counter bait ultimate on the side of Reps for Jesus. Pharaoh gets Tana killed, but Tana pushes Pharaoh off. Here comes a D-Bag onto Iron Turkey. Are they going to be able to kill her? If they are, then this fight is very much favored in terms of Reps for Jesus. The only one left on the point right now is Commander. He's gonna have to be huge. But as I say that,
the respawns are coming through.
The respawns are coming through on the side of THICC Aussie Boys right now, and here comes a nano boost onto the Lucio. Lucio on the point right now. Is he gonna get anything? No, maybe gets a kill on the Sad Boy. Here comes a charge. Not sure what happened over there, but the side of Reps for Jesus, they are losing members right now, and so this has turned into a stall tactic. And yes, THICC Aussie Boys on the chance of attackers respawn being faster than defenders respawn does cap the point, but only with a minute remaining.
Yeah, so 5 minutes on the clock, and yeah, absolutely, just attacker respawn advantage coming in there in a big way, just able to reinforce faster and swing the fate of that fight over. But that said, moving on to second point, they're not going to be seeing respawn advantage anytime soon on that team, so...
As you can see, the Brigade has been caught out. 3 people are chasing her for some reason. Are they going to be able to get the kill on her? But as I say that, Tana just jumps on Sad Boy, and with 3 people committing onto a Brigade that did not die, actually. This is a very dire situation for Reps for Jesus right now. Is this going to be the one-take push after a devastating hold from Reps for Jesus on the 3 minutes?
I think it is.
Sad Boy, the one left on the point. Here comes Sweaty Bacon. He's next on the point. Is he going to get anything done? No, he gets killed. Here comes the Diva Bomb. Atlas trying to get onto the point. He's going to get completely destroyed.
String Bean's bomb is the only tool they've got left here, and it's not going to do enough. There it is. Nothing.
And here comes Hammond Boy. Here comes Pharaoh on the Doomfist trying to get anything done. He's just swinging around like a wrecking ball on the side, trying to get anything done, but he does have to go out of the point!
Oh no!
Most of the circles he has to turn around does go out of the point, so it is very much a C9 coming out from him instead of just being on the point. And after a devastating hold coming out from Reps for Jesus that held THICC Boys to just barely 1 minute, THICC Boys manages to bring it back and cap it with 3 minutes and 47, which is still very much a respectable time.
Absolutely, and I think the big thing that went wrong there was right at the start of the fight. I don't know if it was due to a boop or just due to some poor decision making, but both the tanks of Reps for Jesus there ended up getting knocked off or jumping off the high ground there, and trapped on the low ground, and that's why they did go after that Brigida, but it meant that the other 5 members of THICC Aussie Boys were free to just push onto the point, with no tank line there. Half the team were chasing a Brigida, and they had a free path to just barrel straight across the point and take out Sad Boy's Anna. And from there, it was all just momentum. They just were able to set up on that point. Atlas came through with the charge, didn't get anything from his shatter, and then it was just clean up from there.
As you said, 3 people went after that single Brigade. But even then, that Brigade managed to get out alive and with completely full health. I'm not sure what happened in that fight, but that Brigade stayed alive for extremely way too long, even against a 3v1. But enough about that, let's go on to the fight right now. And as you can see on the side of Raptor Jesus, we have the Widowmaker with the triple tank combo. Right now, let's see if Duff Champion can get any picks, any early picks to let his triple tank team secure the fight.
Oh, it's a very aggressive defensive hold there, and very well executed from not Retsu Jesus. THICC Aussie boys, I should say, as they just come barreling into the attackers like a freight train, and it carries the fight through. It looks like Sweaty Bacon is just knows that he needs to get out of there and reset, and we're going to be sitting in for the siege here. Iron Turkey goes deep to take out Duff Champion, in fact, but may pay for that one.
As you can see, they are running a defense GOAT composition. You barely see GOATs on the defense right now, but it is working against the triple tank composition of, on the side of Reps with Jesus. Are they going to be able to punish the right side whose shield is completely destroyed? Nope, he does get his shield back, but it is most probably low. Here comes the Brigade ultimate just to keep everyone alive and give everyone some shields. It is a dire situation for Duff Champion, as he isn't going to be able to one-shot anybody with those extra Brigade shields, and he's getting chased by Iron Turkey. But as I say that, here comes a huge anti that gets 3-4 people right now, and this is probably the best chance to attack. Here comes the
follow-up.
Here comes Kamehameha, and Reps of Jesus just wasting, no offense, but they are just wasting time at this point. They're not even attacking. That's over just 2 minutes, 30 seconds left on the clock. But here comes a grab, but here comes the Lucio ultimate to try and stall this out.
That was a brutal Anna grenade there, just turning the swings of that one, and that's going to be an easy point A cap after almost 2 minutes of mucking around at the gate. They are going to take control of this one, so we'll see if we see any compositional changes coming through from the THICC Aussie boys as we move over to the Part B defense.
THICC Aussie boys continue to run that go-to defense. I'm not sure how well it's going to be on this high ground right now, because if all of them do commit to the low ground, Duff Champion can just easily take that high ground and start picking people off. But as I say that, here comes into the fight. The Reps of Jesus just goes barrel straight to the point right now. Here comes a charge for Tana, but that's nothing. But Tana gets counter-charged back while he was trying to use his ultimate. Atlas gets the kill on the Tana, and there is no more Earth Shadow for him. Atlas gets a subsequent kill onto Gaming, and it's a 4v6 right now. They're good, but they have to push this fast. Reps of Jesus does not have the time or the luxury to keep staying on this point. As I say that, 2 picks does come in for the side of THICC boys, and they most likely will continue to hold due to the very heavily favored defender's spot.
And I think the big player in that fight has to be Iron Turkey, who just made sure Duff Champion did not have any sightlines to work with, just really getting aggressive on that Diva, getting into the Widow, and actually taking down Duff Champion as well. So obviously the biggest threat they have to worry about, and very well handled there by Iron Turkey.
Very true, and as you can see that on the side of THICC boys, they have 4 ultimates up. They will most likely use the Brigade ultimate early in this fight just to give everyone, just top everyone up with shields so Duff Champion can't one-shot them. But nope, they aren't using it just about yet, and here comes the engagement on the sides of Reps of Jesus. They are going to they seem to be trying to push onto the top and left high ground, and here comes the Graviton. Manages to get a couple of people, but no subsequent follow-up. Duff Champion gets a kill. I have Reinforced gets a counter kill onto Atlas. Sad Boy gets Tana right now, and it's in favor of Reps for Jesus. Here comes a Nano String Beam. Isn't he going to do anything? But no, they are down Sad Boy once again. They do not have their Ana to provide necessary healing, and Sweaty Bacon does get killed outright right now. It is in favor of THICC boys right now. Yes, they will continue to hold with 3 minutes and 55 seconds left on the clock.
And I think that's I suppose the power of the defensive goats composition is that it's just taking Rets for Jesus a little too long to clean up these members. And so the respawns are coming through and able to reinforce this point before they've managed to get any progress done. They're not getting the clean, decisive fight wins that they need in order to start really cracking this point.
Yeah, very, very true. But on that note, THICC Boys used about everything. Tanner with the Earth Shadow is the only one left, and he is sleeping on the job right now. Does get woken up by it. Here comes a Shadow with no one in the field. Vero gets a kill on Gaming. This is most likely their best chance to try and cap it. No, as I say that, Reinforce and Tanner just also gets that counter kills on two very key members of the GOATS composition, which are the Reinhardt and the Brigade. And here comes another hold for THICC Aussie Boys.
Absolutely, although Iron Turkey remacking right in the beams of Vero Zaya means Vero looking to get out here does have a lot of charge and very high ultimate percentage, does get cornered there on the way out. So not going to keep that charge that's been built up, but we are going to see both the Graviton and the Diva Bomb available next fight. In fact, quite a lot of ultimates are about to be online for Rets for Jesus. That said, we've got 5 online for THICC Aussie Boys as well, so it's really going to be down to which team is able to execute this one first and get the most value early in the fight.
And as you see, the power of GOAT's composition, almost every single one of them has their ultimate up. That's 5 ultimates on the side of THICC Aussie Boys. They invest, but they do invest a lot in this fight. But
that is just that is a knife fight in a phone booth right there. But we are going to see another clean defensive hold there by the THICC Aussie Boys. They do still have 2 ultimates in the bank, but I think next fight is going to be the make or break one here for Rets for Jesus. This is going to be their best chance to break through this defense.
That's very true. Sweaty Bacon with the ultimate right now, most likely going to try and pop it as they rush in onto the point, and Atlas, it's on Atlas to try and get a huge play with that Shatter. And as I say that, here comes, yep, they are trying, no, they are actually using it early right now, and not outright using it as the engaging tool with the speed boost, and now they are pushing on the point. Atlas with that Earth Shatter, it's on him to try and make something out of this right now. Is he gonna find anything right now?
Oh, get stunned out of it.
Gets stunned out of it, but Atlas gets a kill on the Tanner, but Reinforce gets a kill on Sandboy. Rats of Jesus down a healer right now, and that is quite crucial. But as the fight continues on, Vero gets a kill on Come On Bruh. Atlas gets a counter charge onto Brigade. And
Reinforce in a lot of trouble, does get taken down. They're doing it, but they need to keep this through. The reinforcements starting to come through. The Tannenborough going down. I have a Rake taken out as well. They're finally getting some progress building here. And that Graviton is going to make sure that they can get this one all the way through, I think.
Yep, and with just, are they going to, well, now the question is, yep, they will get the kill. And unfortunately, on the side of THICC Aussie Boys, they are not going to be able to stall it into overtime.
No, but still a very, very respectable hold there. They bled a lot of time off the clock, and it's definitely put them into a big advantage on this map as we move over into the time back round.
Yes, that's very, very... that's actually extremely great time burned with over 3 minutes and 8 seconds advantage on the side of THICC Aussie Boys. If they can just hold this, first point for, I would say, maybe 1.5 fights generally you see happen, they will most likely win this map. Just with the overwhelming 4 minutes 8 seconds, they can just build 6 ultimates, push in with it, and well, win the point. So it's on the side of Rems with Jesus to see how far they can push this, whether or not they kept 1 tick, 2 ticks, the whole point, maybe even 2 points.
Yeah, I mean, it's not out of the question to get a really good snowball and take both points in a minute. I've seen it before. You may have seen it before. I've seen it done with time still in the bank. But I don't think, given how close this map has been so far, that one's going to happen. It's not out of the question for them to take it in a good snowball.
Both teams running the GOATS composition. This is going to be a GOATS v GOATS. Everybody sit back, relax, and let the slugfest begin. It's gonna come down to who can sustain more and who does not get outright picked off. Here comes the engagement. Here comes a charge from Tanner, but gets absolutely no one. But Atlas does get zoned out. but he does use the charge to get back with his team. It's a fight on the point right now, and it's basically anyone's like, but a huge charge coming out. Tana did not get the hit on the Atlas, but the momentum pushed him over the edge, and without your Reinhardt, you are dead in the water. And Sad Boy gets a counter kill on Tana right now, but Gaming gets a counter kill on the Sad Boy. Here comes the Kamehameha. He needs to be on the point. There's only 15 seconds left on the point. They cannot afford to.
No, they need a quick reset here. They were too far down. I don't know if they're going to be able to get on there in time, but that fight was not winnable, and I think it was a good decision to back up. Sweaty Bacon going to buy time, but the team caught in a grab there is tragic, and that's the end of that.
Sweaty Boy, the last hope for Reps with Jesus to touch the point, got snuffed out as the D.Va pushes him back with the thrusters. This map is all for THICC boys to lose at this point. Without any case, this will 100% go to at least a draw if THICC boys, by some miracle, does not cap it. But we are going to see the fourth map.
Absolutely, and I think I was actually a little surprised because Reps for Jesus coming into that one, they were expecting the hold around that corner there. They were ready for it, and as a result, Tanatuva not able to get that early opening charge effectively onto them. But unfortunately, they don't follow through with that opportunity given to them by the THICC Aussie boys. As a result, they do gradually get picked off as Tanatuva makes his way back into the fight. And obviously that initial kill, knocking Atlas off the map, just sets the momentum from there. So just a bit of a misfire, unfortunately, by the Reps for Jesus. And as a result of that, we, absolutely will see them in the position of needing to full hold point A for 4 minutes and 8 seconds, longer than normal full hold time.
Very true, and here comes the fight right now, and it seems that Reps of Jesus going for a very cheeky on the top rope play right now. Here comes the Andy. Doesn't get anyone. Yes, does get come on rope, but is he going to be able to get out alive? Yes, he does get out alive right now, and it's still anybody's fight. THICC boys right now, and manages to actually they decide to push in right now, and Atlas is just getting swung at. He does get zoned out right now. Here comes the charge. No, does not get the kill onto him. But as I say that, the Freaky went huge and got the kill onto the actual D.Va. But as I say that, Sweaty Bacon and Atlas pulling it back for his team right now. 5v4 right now in favor of Reps with Jesus. If on the side of THICC boys they are able to reset, they can push it right now, and Iron Turkey gets a kill onto the very crucial brigade right now. There is no healing. Or at least that's a lack of healing for the side of Reps with Jesus, and now with the reinforcements coming back in for the side of THICC boys, they are going to push in, but Pharaoh gets a kill onto Reinforce. Here comes a Shadow for Tana, does not get anything, and the Graviton did not get anything done. It's still a slugfest on the point, but is very much favored in terms of I can't actually tell who's.
No, I think Reps for Jesus have a very slight advantage here. The respawns may work against them though, as the attackers will be getting more people through. So I think eventually we are going to see this one go over to THICC Aussie boys just by virtue of those respawns, and it really comes into just Iron Turkey on that Widow, able to take the very aggressive positioning, because when you're playing against goats, there's just nothing that can come up and harass you. And they're clinging on for dear life here. Great sound barrier out of Sweaty Bacon to try and keep Vero up, but they just don't have the tools they need to win this one, and there it is.
After a very great hold coming out, Reps with Jesus, just quite unfortunate that Iron Turkey popped off on that Widowmaker. THICC Aussie boys puts a point on the board, and we are now moving on to the fourth match.
Absolutely, and it's just trying to think of what that fourth map is. I'm actually blanking on it.
It's Hollywood, if I'm not mistaken.
Hollywood, yes, you are correct. We will be going to Hollywood.
Hollywood, very much one of the most underrated maps in my opinion. We've rarely seen it anywhere else in competitive play, not even the Overwatch League. I think like Stage 1 Overwatch League was the last time we saw Hollywood being played at that level, and that was yeah, it probably was. I think maybe in Stage 3 it did come back.
I think it did come back in Stage 3. I think we've seen it more than once, but it is definitely one of the more varied hybrid maps because, and I say that, but most of the hybrid maps are actually quite varied. But yeah, we go from a often very brawly first point into a very high ground dominated second point, and even on third point, a lot of high ground but harder to use. So it's definitely a map we see a lot more of the dive based tanks than I think we have seen tonight. So we could be in for a big change of pace here as we move over shortly to Hollywood.
Yeah, generally, as you said, it's rarely actually played, and it will see a very, very composition coming in. So I am quite happy to see Hollywood back in the rotation, and even in AOE, where we will be able to cast. But just to give a general breakdown on how Hollywood generally is used for attackers and defenders, generally attackers will try and take control of the high ground that just overlooks the point, whereas the defenders take the high ground on the cafe area and try and hold close to the point as much as possible. But if they're running a Reinhardt, they will just try and get cheeky fire strikes on the open sidelines, and that's generally what's happened on the first point. Then on to second point, we will see general fighting on the high ground just to see who can gain control of it, as it does provide very huge sightlines. So that means that we will most likely not see much goats on the streets phase if they are using it as the attackers, and subsequently onto third point, not much high ground, so goats can be used on that general map style. But aside from that, I would say it's still very much a dive centric map for attackers.
Yeah, definitely.
Just because of the amount of high ground.
Yeah, definitely. I think the main place where we see teams move away from the dive is the second half of third point, where it does get very narrow and brawly. But even then, it's still not uncommon to see the dive-based heroes and dive-based tanks maintained throughout there as well, even if their snowball is stopped. But as we head into the map, we will see just what we are going to see from these tanks. So far in the assembly phase, teams are actually both locking in some triple tank compositions. We don't know if they're going to be sticking with those, but it's definitely differing from perhaps what we expected.
Very, very true. I don't. We'll see whether or not they will continue to run the triple tank. Reps of Jesus just actually run the triple tank with a single DPS double healer composition for a number of their maps, so it's not without reason they're not running it. But on the side of THICC Boys, it is interesting to see what they will actually use, because right now they're not really showing any real composition. But I would guess maybe I would still think they're running goats. It's probably one of the safest things that you can still run on this map, and it's extremely powerful just because you know that the enemy team is going to be fighting on that point.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's a lot of high ground on both sides of this point, and that's not really something Goats wants to have to deal with. But we are going to see them swapping over. It looks like they will be running. It is going into the classic Goats. Early kill by Duff Champion under I Have a Rake is definitely going to put a delay on this first push. But yeah, it looks like we are going to be seeing some Goats running into the triple tank with Duff Champion on that Widow on the high ground, who's just going to be nigh on impossible to deal with by these attackers.
Ooh, another early pick from with Duff Champion getting the kill on the Reinforce, as you say. That just because he is practically never going to be contested with the Goats composition. Their only two options on the side of THICC Boys right now is one, either completely ignore the Widowmaker and try and smash the people on areas where they cannot actually see, or two, they will have to switch off the composition they're running. It seems that they will continue to run it. Yes, they have decided to just forego the Widowmaker and try and get a charge, but as I said, it's a brawl on the point right now. Both Reinhardts charging in, not getting any value. Here comes the Kamehameha coming out, and I Have Rake gets first blood with the D-back on the String Bean. String Bean gets killed by Commander, and it's a 5v6 in favor of the Goat composition, and they should be able to cap this point. But yeah, they should be able to cap this point. Here comes some ultimates from THICC Boys just to secure the fight. Not necessarily needed, but just use up. Duff Champion gonna get dived by the Diva, gets completely destroyed, and it's just a stall right now with Sandboy just hugging the corner, trying not to get seen. And yep, he gets killed.
It's all but over. And I think, honestly, Duff Champion really misplayed that one, because they actually dropped down from that really high up perch of their own free will. They just dropped down because they didn't have any angles on any targets at the time, and that's what led to them getting stuck in the room at the bottom of Cafe, and they eventually made their way up to the second floor of Cafe, but again, much easier position to attack. So I think Duff really misplayed there, not being patient to just wait for targets to come back out onto the point where they need to stand on to cap it, and gets really punished for it.
Righto, and now we are moving into the second phase. They, THICC Boys most likely will continue to play on the Goats compositions, gets grabbed. This is a fight one for the side of Reps, so Jesus, easy play right there, just because they knew that the THICC Boys did not have any ultimates to try and hold this off. But on the side of, but on their side, they have also saved ultimates. They have 3 ultimates up, no, 4 ultimates getting ready right now with Iron Turkey having the Diva Bomb. They have Reinforced with the Coalescence, they have Commander with the Zarya, and they have the Rhine Shadow. Right, let's see how many ultimates they are going to have to invest just to even get this card pushed out and moved on to Street Space.
Absolutely, and this is Diva Bomb going over the top. Committed the 1-2 punch there, and they do get String Bean, but String Bean was out of mech already, so not the most high value one, nothing in that grab whatsoever, but this fight is still very much in favour of the THICC Aussie Boys here. But Atlas, with that, even with the Nano just backing up, they're just looking to regroup before they take this fight.
Yep, right now Atlas, here comes the Shadow, does get 2 people, gets 3 people actually, but no subsequent follow-up, and Tana gets a kill on the Duff Champion with a Fire Strike. Here comes the Lucio Sound Barrier just to keep everyone alive, and here comes a huge grab. That's 4 or 5 people in that grab right there, and Atlas swinging for the hills, gets 2, but Gaming and Common Bro does get the counter kill. Iron Turkey with the bomb gets a kill on the String Bean, and Reps with Jesus does have to back up even after a very successful grab getting 2 people.
Yeah, the grab came in just a little too late. Unfortunately, they just were too far down in the fight. So even with some good kills coming through, THICC Aussie Boys able to win the fight out just by virtue of having enough people still left alive, even after all of that. And so they're going to get this one through the second point cap. It's 2.5 minutes on the clock, which will become 4 minutes of time to get this through C. They're setting a very good pace here as they go for a very aggressive fight.
Here comes a Shadow getting 2 people onto the floor. Atlas getting hit and getting smacked around. Here comes another team wipe on the side of Reps with Jesus. Iron Turkey doesn't even need to do anything. He'll just continue to sleep on the job. You're not needed. Decides to wake up and start the fight again. And it is very much in favor of the Goat composition, especially on this third point. There's not much high ground that the defenders can try and use to potentially get a pick onto the Goats composition. So it's on them to try and see what they can do. They do nano the Zarya right now. Here comes the Shadow, did not get anything, and Atlas gets completely smashed. Without your Rhine shield right now, without the Rhine shield on the side of Reps of Jesus, they are gonna get team wiped. This is gonna be a very easy cap on the sides of THICC Boys, so long as they keep people on the cart to push it. And with a very respectable time of about 2 minutes 50 seconds or 2 minutes 30 seconds, they should be able to cap it right now. Sweaty Bacon just trying to stall them out point, but as I say, that huge anti that's getting 4 people, but Iron Turkey with the Diva Bomb gets both the supports, and
String Beam, unfortunately, a little too far up in the sky, and thus the cart able to get through as they're launching that Diva Bomb. Yeah, so I think Reps for Jesus perhaps just being a bit too stubborn with their composition as well. They're not swapping over to the tried and tested anti-Goats heroes, and as a result, the momentum is just overwhelmingly being in favor of THICC Aussie Boys once they get going. I think you need to make some swaps if you've got a momentum-laden Goats comp coming at you. You need to make some changes to try and deal with them. You need to bring out some Junkrats, some Doomfists, just something to try and upset their momentum. Otherwise, they're just going to push all the way through you, and we've seen that just now. So as much as we said before that reverse sweep didn't seem too likely, but it looks like it is definitely on the cards here, because Rets for Jesus just don't seem to be willing to adapt their own compositions to deal with this Goats-heavy aggression out of the THICC Aussie boys.
Very, very true. Now we have 30 seconds or so for teams to solidify what they're gonna run. It seems that as I said before, what's not broken, don't fix it, and they decide to run Goat's composition yet again on the defense. But instead of having the Diva, they do have the Roadhog for just some extra damage. On the side of Reps of Jesus, they are sticking to the tried and true as well with a triple tank, single sniper, double healer composition. Let's see if the Hanzo is going to be the X factor to try and break this Goat's comp.
Absolutely, and certainly the Hanzo will have the sight lines to provide some long-range threat, but I'd really be looking to bring out something different here. Like, bring out a Pharah, bring out something that can provide a threat that this Goats can't get at.
Yes, here comes the fight right now. Both teams just on the poke section of the fight right now. Atlas getting pushed back a bit. He does get healed up. I have a Rake sleeping a bit. Here comes a charge. Yes! That gets a charge onto the sleeping Lucio. And the Ghost comp down 1, down 2 now. And this triple tank composition seems to be working on the favor of the side of Reps with Jesus. They should be able to cap this point out right now, but come on, bruh, and does get a pick, but Atlas just swinging for the heals pretty much can't be stopped right now, and they should be able to cap it with just over 3 minutes, and yeah, with just over 3 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, so very nicely executed there. They just obviously get the early sleep onto the Lucio, just sets up for the early kill, and then Atlas just running roughshod over the THICC Aussie boys. And so we are going to see Rets for Jesus get this one underway, but they still are staring down the barrel of an absolute freight train of a defense. So we'll see if they can keep this one up, because
huge graviton coming out on the side. Here comes the dragon combo, tried and true to beat any composition that does not have a Zenyatta. And I am just getting stalled out, just gonna get slapped. He's just not gonna be doing anything for a bit. Yep, there's the kill. And with that, Reps of Jesus should be able to push this cart just around the corner of Jackson.
Yeah, absolutely. We're probably going to see one more defensive fight out of the THICC Aussie boys. They are getting their ultimates online, however. They are going to have both the big tank ultimates online for this defense. So that Graviton, really big potential there, but Sweaty Bacon does have the sound barrier to cancel it out as well.
Here comes the Graviton on the side. That gets 3 people. Here comes a Shatter. Yes, that's the Shatter you want. That's 3-4 people on the ground. Tana swinging for the hills. String Beam gets demacked. Is he gonna get stalled out? Yes, he's gonna get stalled out. Nope, gets immediately killed by Come On, bro. Pharaoh gets killed, and with that, with the investment of 3 ultimates on the side of THICC boys, they will continue to hold. As for the side of Reps of Jesus, they do have their Ride Shatter and a Nano Boost to pair with it, but as I say that, they also have the Zarya Grab Dragon combo, which is not too far off. The only thing they have to wait for is that is the Dragon, but that charges quite fast even at 20% level.
Yeah, so I think Aussie boys really need to win this fight cheaply, but
that doesn't seem to be the case right now. Sad Boy gets a kill on the I have great. There goes Lucio. Come on, bro, gets that's Giant Turkey with a 2k on that Diva Bomb. This fight is all said and done, and THICC boys continue to hold. But on the side for Reps of Jesus, they did have to invest their Shatter and their Nano Boost as well. But as I say that, they have the Graph Dragon combo online. For all intents and purposes, Goat's composition cannot beat this combo. The only way they beat this combo is if Iron Turkey makes a huge play with the Diva Defense Matrix to eat either one of the ultimates. So it's on him right now to make the play, or this team, or this fight is going to be in favor of Reps of Jesus.
Absolutely, and there's the Grav, and there's the Dragons.
That's 3 people. That's an easy setup right there. Parting gift onto Sad Boy, just a bit of smack to the face from the Brigade. Brigitte still alive, actually. Is he gonna get back? Yep, just get back. Duff Champion is in a bit of trouble. Is he gonna be able to get out before the D.Va kills him? Yep, he does get out. Stringbean gets killed onto the Brigitte, and this point should be in favor of Reps with Jesus unless Tana goes for a charge, trying to get back on the point. Nope, gets moved back. But they are gonna have a fight. Here comes a shatter. Oh, here comes a huge 5k shatter on the side of Tana right there, and here comes the investment of the Graviton as well. And they do manage to hold just before it caps second point. Incredible play coming out of Tana. They're getting a huge 4-5k shatter onto the cart just before it caps.
Absolutely, and so that's going to set them up. That said, they're still not in a great position because Atlas and Vero are once again have those tank ultimates coming online. Sweaty Bacon, Sad Boy, and Duff Champion also very close to ults. Reps for Jesus are coming up to the big six, and on the part of THICC Aussie Boys, they don't have either of their big fight-winning tank ultimates available to them. So there it is from Atlas. Oh, but he goes down. What's going on with this fight? The members of Reps for Jesus are just not together.
I don't know if it's a communication issue, but Atlas went in gung-ho onto the enemy team of THICC Boys by himself, decides to invest the shatter by himself, literally no follow-up. I don't know what he was doing, but that doesn't matter. There's 5 ultimates up for Reps with Jesus. They have the Grab Dragon combo once up again.
And it looks like Reinforces just fat-fingered his Coalescence though, which is really going to cost them in this next fight.
Yep, here comes the Grab Dragon. There's another 3 people. Is he gonna get any kills? It gets one kill just because the Lucio Sound Barrier kept everyone alive. But as I say, that THICC Boys still has the potential to win this map, win the fight. But no, Barrow gets a kill onto an anti-Brigitte. Here comes a Shatter. They're gonna invest about 4 of that 5 ultimates, and Reps with Jesus should be able to cap this with just over 40 seconds left on the clock. It's just clean up now on the side of THICC Boys. Iron Turkey, the only one left with Reinforced. They're just gonna have to kill them extremely quick.
Yeah, and it looks like the members of THICC Aussie Boys just moving back to not get staggered on the respawns and setting up for the 3rd point defense here. So call was made to back off, and as we can see, Rest for Jesus looking to come through and punish some late respawns, but there's no one there to punish. They've already made their way through safely.
Very, very true. But as I say that, if you look at the time right now, they only have 1:30 left to try and push through at this, and the card is still at the start of the third phase. They're most likely gonna have to, it takes about a minute even at the fastest speed to even move uncontested. So this fight is most likely gonna go into overtime right now. And here comes Kamehameha. Here comes the Graviton. That's a 2k. Tana goes for a charge, gets the kill onto the counter Lucio. Ira Ray kills Atlas, and here comes a reset on the side of Reps with Jesus. Even though they managed to push this onto 3rd point right now, it's still a very dire situation. With only a minute left onto the clock, they, I think, have 2 fights coming in right now.
That said, they are going to have a lot of ultimates up for their next one. And we do have the Shatter on the part of Tanatuva, but Atlas and Vero are both going to have their big tank ults available. Sweaty Bacon's about to get his Sound Barrier on Drake. There's the grab. Counter Shatter is blocked. Dragon's right through.
Dragon's right through. Gets no one, unfortunate. The Lucio ultimate just keeping everyone alive. Tana gets killed. But yeah, Atlas did have to invest the ultimate, I believe. But it's still very much a brawl on the point right now. The Brigitte gets a 2k, gets another D-Mag on the side of Reps with Jesus, and Reps with Jesus with only 15 seconds left on the clock. This fight, they're gonna have to not only win this fight, but subsequently win one more fight if they want to at least cap this point. Right now, THICC Boys, right now, what ultimates do they have up? They almost have, they have the Graviton right now. This is gonna have to be huge. This grab is gonna be the deal breaker on whether or not Reps with Jesus are gonna be able to win this fight and continue pushing this point. Here comes a grab. That's 2-3 people into it right now. Stringbean gets killed while he's trying to use his bomb. Duff Champion gets killed by Iron Turkey. It's a 4v6, and just like that, THICC Boys should be able to hold it. Here comes a huge shatter, getting 3 people, and that's all said and done. And THICC Boys manages to bring it back from the brink of a 2-0 to now a 2-2, and we are going to Game 5.
Very well played there for THICC Aussie Boys, and in that penultimate fight, it really came down to just getting that early kill onto the Ana, and that's what set the pace for the defenders to win that one, because without that healing available, it just came down to Reps for Jesus not able to sustain. And so, even though the ultimates are on point, even though the teams traded well, the critical kill was that the Ana went down very early for Rets for Jesus. As a result, they're just not able to win that fight in the end.
And what came from a dire situation for THICC Aussie Boys might just be a redemption. And now we move on to the last map of Oasis. The score is now tied up 2-2, and THICC Aussie Boys are riding on a high, and with a potential reverse sweep on the table right now, it's still anybody's game, and we are going to Oasis.
Absolutely, and in this, to an extent, you have to feel like the advantage is still theoretically for Rets for Jesus after their performance on Control earlier, but THICC Aussie Boys have all the momentum. And I've just realized that my microphone has been muted for the last 20 seconds.
Yep, so, I was wondering what happened. I thought I disconnected in a minute.
No, that was me. And I got 2/3 of the way through a wonderful bit of commentary and then realized that my name was not lighting up. So here we are. So you have to think in this one, THICC Aussie Boys are definitely in the driver's seat. They've got all the momentum behind them. Even though they lost control earlier in the night, Rets for Jesus really have to be worried here, especially as we go to University on the first map, a very goats-heavy stage of Oasis. And Rets for Jesus just have not had an answer to this goats comp from the THICC Aussie Boys. So they've really got to be worried here, and this is going to set all them, continue this momentum against them. If they don't come up with an answer, and fast, they are looking to lose this series. But we are looking like we're going to be seeing some changes out of them. We have Vero locking in the Pharah by the looks of it. Duff Champion maybe was considering the Mei, going over to the Hanzo instead, but they're bringing out some different tools. No, Duff Champion going back to the Mei. I think that's the way to go. They need to split up and break apart this GOATS comp. They need to rain fire down upon it from a long distance, and these heroes give them the tools they need to maybe do that.
This is going to be the make or break situation in terms of Reps of Jesus. As you said before, GOAT's composition very, very heavily favored on this map. If Reps of Jesus are able to at least take this map, and coming into the next two maps, that's not a very GOAT's favorite map, so it is down to this one map to see whether or not, on the side of Reps of Jesus, they are going to try and win this. As you can see, the GOAT's composition going for a sneaky flank into the right side room. Here comes the Bay wall. Tanner gets walled off. Here comes a charge.
It's a big charge.
Strictly gets hit, but without your right heart, you are dead in the water, and the GOAT's composition continues to completely dismantle Reps of Jesus, even with the counter picks coming out from them. And first point should go over to THICC Aussie Boys.
That said, Vero has built up 60%, now up to 70% ultimate charge in this first losing fight. So he's going to have that barrage up very early. If they can get a DMech onto Iron Turkey, there's just no tools available to deal with that. So they got to play for the long game here. String Bean getting very low though, but here comes the Coalescence to top him up. They're going to go for a push here.
Yep, here comes the Mei got pinned in the corner and by Tana over there, and Vero did use the barrage, but to no avail. Did not get anything. Tana's frozen right now. Are they gonna be able to punish him? No. It's still very much both teams trading right now. The next kill should decide. Yes, Reinforce gets the kill on the String Bean, and on the side of THICC Aussie Boys, they will continue to hold and push up to 41%.
Absolutely, and this is the danger zone now, because the ultimates are definitely online for the THICC Aussie Boys here. They're going to have the grab next fight. They've got a lot of support ultimates available, and of course the D.Va self-destruct, if launched right, is very difficult to avoid by the Pharah. So
here comes the Coalescence and some Gravitons in the fight. Graviton coming out of Atlas gets absolutely nothing. Here comes the D.Va bomb. Is it going to anything? Yes, gets the kill on the Pharaoh, as he said before. Pharaoh could not get out of the way for that, and THICC Aussie Boys continues to hold this point, pushing up to 70%. But as I say that, they did have to use all ultimates there. Both their support ultimates had to be invested into that fight itself, and they don't seem to be able to come back on anytime soon. But come on, bro, and the Reinhardt most likely will have their ultimates up coming into the next fight. Vero does get the barrage up, ready for this upcoming fight, and Sweaty Bacon does have the Valkyrie ultimate to try and keep everyone alive. Even if they do cap this point, a huge move coming out from the Brigitte, gets the kill on the String Bean. This is a 5v6 right now, and in a dire
Vero needs to
situation.
get the biggest barrage that they've ever gotten in his life. Here it is.
The barrage. Odie gets blocked and gets subsequently killed by Iron Turkey, flying into his face. That should be technically a kill for Iron Turkey in my opinion. Blizzard get a kill shot on that one. Here comes a shatter.
Big shatter from Stringbean.
Shatter from Stringbean, but no follow-up means that there was a bit off or not. Here comes a charge, just pinning the D.Va into the corner, but the points ticking down right now. Here comes a Doomfist. Let's see if he's going to be able to punch people into the wall. Right now, Tana gets a kill on the Sad Boy, but Stringbean gets a counter kill. Come on, bro, gets a kill on Vero. Here comes a huge grab, getting 3-4 people. Here comes a charge, gets a kill on Reinforce, and it's still anyone's
That's it.
But
oh, they get grabbed off the point! That is the biggest brain Zarya play we've seen all night. Incredible.
Incredible grab coming out on the side of THICC Aussie Boys. Grabs them off the point. They're not able to touch it, and now it's all down to this one last map. Will THICC Aussie Boys be able to bring it back from the brink and get that reverse sweep, or will Rep for Jesus be able to get the 2-point cap? Just because these next two maps are not very GOATS favored.
Yeah, I mean, here we are on Gardens, and it's long been a Pharah map, it's been a Sombra map, but it doesn't look like they're going for those. Reps for Jesus, they've given up on anti-GOATS compositions. They're going for the mirror comp. They're hoping that they can execute GOATS better than the team that has been rolling over them all night. It's a risky move, and we'll see if it pays off by them as the first fight gets underway here.
It seems that THICC Aussie Boys decides to take the high ground with the GOATS composition, probably just waiting to try and drop on something, and it seems that on the side of Reps of Jesus, they're gonna have a mirror, but here comes a charge from Tana, gets a hit onto Atlas, but Atlas does get buried up. Duff Champion a bit caught out right now. He's half health, but does get healed up, and THICC Aussie Boys continues to hold the high ground. Now, all teams will drop on the point right now, and Tana does get charged. Ooh, a bit of a corner push over there, and Atlas gets the first kill onto Tana right now. Without the GOATS comps Reinhardt, they will ultimately lose this fight, and as I say, and as you can see, Reps with Jesus most likely will have this fight in the bag, and they will cap first point.
Yeah, they've won the fight, but it hasn't been as cheap as they wanted. They did commit 2 ultimates there just to get the fight across the line. Actually, I tell a lie, that was Iron Turkey's D.Va bomb. So they've committed the coalescence there, but Iron Turkey has used the bomb, both teams using 1 ultimate there. Reps for Jesus now in control for the first time in quite a while, in fact. And they're definitely in a good position. Vero has the grab and is just waiting on the flank there. But at the same time, all of their opponents from the THICC Aussie Boys have flanked around.
Here comes the grab. That's 4 people in that grab right now, but it's still 1-for-1. But Tana gets a huge. Tana gets 2 of the supports on the side of THICC Aussie, on the side of Reps of Jesus, and here comes another shadow onto the side of Vero. The Brigitte also popping off, getting 2 kills. Vero gets a kill on the Tana, but this is very much in favor of THICC Aussie Boys right now. They're gonna be able to cap this point with just about 50% on the side for Reps of Jesus. So not a bad time for a retake.
Yeah, oh yeah, well, that's the thing with this map. It's such a big point that it's actually a really good time for a retake, because it can be so hard to flip this point just because of how large it is. But they managed to take that fight very decisively despite the opening ults coming from their opponent, and it's put them into a great position here, and now the grab comes in against Reps for Jesus.
Yep, here comes a grab on the side of Come On Bro, by a similar lead with how Vero went with his grab, did not get anything, but Iron Turkey's D.Va bomb does get the kill on the Brigitte. That's a crucial pick, but Sad Boy gets a counter kill onto the Lucio. Here comes a charge, and here comes Earthshatters everywhere, and it's a back and forth fight right now with any team being able to cap this point or hold this point. But it seems that the advantage is going over to the sides of Reps of Jesus, and they will cap it with just over a similar amount of actual point as compared to their counterpart as well. But as I say that, Iron Drake is still on the point actually. It's still actually stalling it out.
Reinforcements come in.
Reinforcements coming in, just stalls this out. Everyone's supposed to stall it out. And yeah, both teams managed to retake the point at the same time as their opponents right now. So we can reliably say that these fights are going over for like 50 seconds a fight. So this is most likely going to be the last fight coming out for both teams.
It could well be. It definitely could well be. And we see both Brigidas hitting it. Oh, that's a very aggressive charge from Tanatuva, and I think he's going to pay for it.
Yeah, that's an aggressive charge without the shield and everyone getting ready for that one. This is a fight one for Reps of Jesus. A bit too high bomb there, String B, not getting anything right now. And on the side of THICC Aussie Boys, they're gonna be able to get one more fight into this right now. Here's a push, and here comes a shadow. Did not get anything, but here comes a huge grab. They do manage to get both the supports. They managed to get Atlas, and THICC Aussie Boys should be able to cap this point with 99% left on the clock.
Yeah, so Tanatuva goes in with the shatter and actually gets stunned out of it by the Brigida, but it didn't matter. The grab was good, and the follow-up is there. So we are going to see that flipped over, and it's just going to be down to whether or not Reps for Jesus can take this one back. They do have the grab, they do have the shatter available. I have a rake very close to that sound barrier, but if they execute this one quickly, it may be a quick retake and take this one all the way to its golden point.
Yep, here comes the fight right now. As you see, Barrow on the flank, but no, he gets spotted out. Are they going to be able to punish him so that he can't use his Graviton right now? Right now, Iron Turkey's pushing. Yes, Iron Turkey manages to get the kill on the Barrow. It's a 5v6 right now in favor of the Aussie Boys. They have the... and Atlas gets taken out. This is going horribly for the side of Reps of Jesus. And that's it, boys, ladies and gentlemen. This is most likely going to be the reverse sweep coming out. THICC Aussie Boys. Here comes overtime. Anyone going to be able to touch? Yes, the side of Reps of Jesus.
Desperation. Zambarra doesn't hit the ground in time, and this is just String Bean desperately trying to keep it alive long enough for the reinforcements to come through. The grab is through, but Iva Rate has the sound barrier. Tanatuva commits the shatter as well, and it is just an uphill fight that is just not going to feasibly be possible as these members of Reps for Jesus are cut down one by one. And with that, it is over. And the THICC Aussie Boys have done it. They have reverse swept to win this match.
Amazing play coming out from the side of THICC Aussie Boys. We all thought it was done and dusted when it came over to the final point of Hanamura, but they managed to bring it back from the brink with the GOAT's composition. Many would criticize that they did use the GOAT's composition, but it is still an incredibly powerful composition that relies heavily on teamwork. So you can say that the teamwork is very, very well coordinated, and with that, they managed to win this point.
Absolutely, and they've managed to really bring this whole they managed to bring it all back just really effectively. And so with that, we will see the THICC Aussie Boys perhaps going into this one as the underdog, really coming alive there and managing to take it all the way through. And with that, I suppose we should have a look at who we consider the MVPs.
I would say on the side of THICC Aussie Boys, I think it's very easy to say that Iron Turkey, most likely the MVP for them. He did pop off a lot in a number of these matches, even on GOAT's Comp, even when they were playing GOAT's Comp, when they weren't playing GOAT's Comp. But he's probably by MVP for this match.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Terrible time to have a coughing fit. I do have to agree. Iron Turkey really putting in a lot of work, both playing with the team and going off on the solo missions to isolate and deal with those high-threat individuals against. Has just really done a great job. I also want to give a shout-out to Tanatuva for just regularly coming out best in those Reinhardt battles. Just consistently getting the biggest shatters, getting the better charges, and just putting a lot of pressure onto Atlas and really making his life hell. So just really good tank play all around from the THICC Aussie Boys.
Yes, I would say the last remark I would give is that hopefully the THICC Aussie Boys coming into next week will have a more varied composition. Yes, the GOAT's comp is good, but against much more coordinated teams that understand it perhaps a bit better, or they understand what to do to counter it, they are going to be running their face essentially into a wall. But with that said, we're going to need to pull double duty and move on to the next stream, the next match that is already underway. So do tune in, and we will be back in a bit.